What's up everybody, this is Master EN Gamer. Today I'm back with another one of my brand new Overwatch hero concepts, this time for the Omnic archaeologist Dr. HAMID Faisal. Armed with his trusty pump shotgun, wall-penetrating tools, and a fun new mobility mechanic, HAMID calculates the right moment to strike his opposition before making a daring escape. So without further ado, let's dig into his hero kit and abilities. As many of you know, Dr. HAMID Faisal is a character we've seen pop up a few times so far in the Overwatch story, and actually has an interesting bit of context surrounding him. If you haven't already, I recommend checking out my recent video where I analyzed the character in great depth and theorized how he plays into the greater Overwatch universe. I'll have it linked in the description and cards on screen, so feel free to check it out after watching this video. Also, since we don't have any images of what HAMID canonically looks like, I have to give a special thank you to Bob, who lent me his Safari skin for the purpose of character visuals in this video. I did spruce it up a bit just to give HAMID a bit more unique of a visual appearance, so he's now a certified OC and definitely not just an amalgamation of existing assets. But getting onto his hero kit, HAMID is a DPS hero with 150 health and 100 armor for a grand total of 250 HP. He's roughly the same size as Reaper, but with just a bit more girth to his main body. My goal with this hero was to make him functionally similar to other high damage close range heroes, but with a focus more on dealing burst damage alongside a few other twists. My intention was to move him away from some of the more obnoxious mechanics players encounter with these types of heroes, but I suppose you all will get to be the judges for that. And while I realize that most people want to see more tanks and supports added to Overwatch, the goal of my hero concepts aren't to necessarily introduce what the game needs at this very moment, but rather to develop ideas for possible kits and abilities that could fit within the scope of Overwatch. I'm not vying for HAMID to be the next hero we get, but rather I just want to share my idea for an Omnic archaeologist, which could potentially work in games someday. Getting further into his kit though, we have his primary fire, the pump shotgun. Any archaeologist worth his weight in coprolite knows that treasure hunting can be dangerous business, so HAMID always keeps this trusty weapon by his side. At first glance, it appears to be very similar to Reaper's Hellfire shotguns, but with the key difference being its semi-automatic firing mechanic. Like Ash's rifle, the player must press the fire button every time they want to shoot it, thus giving each shot a level of gravitas unmatched by fully automatic weapons. On top of that, it fires much faster than Reaper's shotguns and with a much tighter spread, thus making it more effective at hitting smaller and slightly more distant targets. Also like Ash's rifle, however, the pump shotgun must be reloaded one shell at a time, which takes a while but can be cancelled to continue firing with however many shells have been loaded already. Looking at its stats, the pump shotgun deals up to 90 damage per shot with a fall-off range of 15 to 25 meters and a spread angle of 10 degrees. Each shot consists of 18 pellets, with one shot being fired every 0.3 seconds. It holds up to 8 ammo and reloads one shot every 0.3 seconds after an initial 0.5 second reload start animation. For reference, these are the stats of Reaper's Hellfire shotguns and Doomfist's hand cannon, which are the two closest in-game comparisons. In a lot of ways, the pump shotgun is a bit of a hybrid of the two, with the slow reload process offsetting some of its better strengths. Moving now to HAMID's alternate fire, this is where we get the second firing mode of the pump shotgun. With alt fire, HAMID fires 2 shells at once, thus dealing more damage over a wider spread angle. However, shooting this way also has a longer recovery period after firing, thus making it more risky and situational in its use. Comparing the two firing modes, alternate fire deals 150 damage per shot instead of 90, fires 30 pellets instead of 18, has a 20-degree spread angle instead of 10 degrees, and has a shot recovery time of 0.6 seconds instead of 0.3, on top of consuming twice the ammo per shot. For further reference, I designed this weapon to overall be a bit of a cross between the dual fire mode shotgun from Half-Life and the rapid fire combat shotgun from Left 4 Dead. Getting onto Hamid's activated abilities, his first one is Slide. Having spent years exploring ancient temples and tombs, Hamid couldn't help but pick up a few tricks when it comes to dodging booby traps. One of these is simply sliding out of the way, which is perfect for making it under closing doors and down long slopes. In Overwatch, Slide is an ability which causes Hamid to drop to the floor and move quickly over a short distance. It can be used to engage the enemy, as hitting an opponent mid-slide boops them backwards slightly and deals a small amount of damage, but more often than not, it'll be used to beat a hasty retreat. By increasing his move speed and lowering his body, Hamid becomes harder to hit as he scoots his way to safety. He can cancel Slide preemptively by pressing the ability button again, and will be forcefully stopped if he hits a solid wall or obstacle. By default, Slide moves Hamid up to 10 meters across flat and uphill surfaces, but he can travel even farther when sliding downhill. When using Slide on a downward slope, Hamid can keep sliding forever until he either reaches the bottom or preemptively cancels it. Furthermore, if he hits flat terrain at the bottom of a slope, he'll get an extra 5 meters of slide distance on top of however far he's already traveled. So say he slides 8 meters across flat ground, then hits a 1 meter downward slope, followed by more flat ground, he'll slide a grand total of 14 meters. And for the sake of simplicity, there is no acceleration or deceleration on Slide, it's just normal speed, then normal speed again. On top of this, Hamid can use his pump shotgun while sliding. Unlike many mobility mechanics in Overwatch, Slide does not interfere with the ability for him to shoot, reload, or use his second activated ability, thus allowing for some sick plays on the field of battle. If you've played Apex Legends, then you probably have a good idea of how this kind of sliding mechanic works. Looking at the numbers, Slide increases Hamid's move speed by 200%, giving him the same speed as Reinhardt's charge, and has a cooldown of 5 seconds, starting after the slide ends. Given the situational effectiveness of actually being able to utilize hills as an escape tool, I decided that a shorter cooldown would be better as it lets him scoot around more frequently. Additionally, enemies hit by Slide will take 10 damage and get knocked back 5 meters, which is on par with getting booped by D.Va's boosters. And also, Slide can only be used while standing on the ground, just like McCree's combat role. Hamid's second activated ability might not be quite as fun as Slide, but it's certainly useful, and that's Imaging Scan. Equipped with ground-penetrating radar, Hamid can locate targets through walls and track their movements. When activated, him and his teammates gain wall hacks in much the same way as Hanzo's Sonic Arrow. The key difference, however, is that rather than seeing any enemies who enter a given area for the duration of the ability, it instead marks all enemies who are in the AoE initially and allows your team to track them no matter where they go for the next 6 seconds. But it only applies to the enemies who are within the AoE upon activation. If another enemy moves into that area after the fact while other enemies are still being tracked, they will not be picked up or appear through walls. Imaging Scan has an AoE of 15 meters around Hamid himself, a cast time of 0.3 seconds, a duration of 6 seconds, and a cooldown of 13 seconds. The purpose of this ability is to let Hamid assess the enemy before engaging them. Given his lack of ranged combat options and overall low sustain, he's best at operating within enclosed areas of the map. And in order to give him the advantage on knowing when to pop out and who to target, Imaging Scan enables him to survey an area and pick out key targets, such as a wounded enemy who might be stepping aside to grab a health pack, or a support who got separated from their team. And finally, looking at Hamid's ultimate ability, he has the Mining Laser. While most archaeologists go to great lengths to carefully uncover and extract ancient artifacts, sometimes you just need a little more power to get to the goods. And that's where the highly controversial Mining Laser comes in handy. In Overwatch, Hamid's Mining Laser is a high-powered beam which fires over a medium-short distance and pierces through barriers, enemies, as well as the map itself. In this regard, it's similar to Hanzo's Dragon Strike, only that it's a pinpoint beam, deals more damage, and can be actively aimed while it's firing. It won't damage players with invulnerability, however, and Hamid can be stunned out of it like Moira's Coalescence and other similar abilities. Stats-wise, Mining Laser deals 170 damage per second with a range of 20 meters. It slows HAMID's move speed by 50%, has a 0.9 second cast time, and a duration of 5 seconds. Furthermore, Mining Laser cannot be used while sliding, and his other abilities cannot be used while it's firing. While this ultimate certainly may sound strong, it does have a fair amount of counterplay. Due to its slowing HAMID's move speed, many players will be able to simply escape its range to stay safe. Also, since it's a pinpoint laser beam like Zarya's primary fire, splitting up means that he can only focus on a single target at a time, thus circumventing the multi-target aspect of it. It's best used in combination with imaging scan, as that allows HAMID to track and hit targets through walls that he'd otherwise have no way of seeing. This plays into his overall ambush playstyle, as he can position himself safely on the far side of a wall before scanning his enemies and opening fire. Before I wrap up, people seem to really like the achievements I added last time on my Malga hero concept, so I made 2 achievements for HAMID as well. The first is Escape Artist. Get 3 pump shotgun kills during a single use of slide. And the second is Making History. Get 4 wall penetrating kills during a single use of Mining Laser. Overall, HAMID's kit is a bit simple, but in my long experience of designing Overwatch hero concepts, I've found that the simpler ones almost always end up being the best. They're easier to balance and understand, and better reflect the actual heroes we have in game. And in the case of HAMID, I feel like these abilities are enough to make him fun, unique, and hopefully effective as a close-range ambush DPS hero. I will note though that, as always, it's impossible to determine precise balance numbers without having at least a prototype hero to experiment with, so the numbers I used in this video are purely calculated estimates and will be highly subject to change if he somehow ever ended up making it into the game. But that being said, I'd love to hear your thoughts on my HAMID hero concept, so be sure to drop a comment down below. Once again, feel free to check out my analysis video of Dr. HAMID Faisal's significance within the Overwatch story, and if you're new to my channel, then be sure to check out my previous concept videos for characters like Echo, Malga, and the Junker Queen. I'll have the full playlist of them linked in both the description and the cards on screen. Otherwise, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and share it with a friend if you really liked it. Subscribe, hit up the bell, follow me on Twitter, and join my Discord server to never miss any of my future Overwatch content. This is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.